Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahal Rakakadash, and double honors to the apostles of that great millstone, and to the bishops and elders in Connecticut, and also to the brothers that's out there putting their lives on the line, teaching this truth. And this Yah Damah from the great millstone Houston camp. And, we just had Passover, yesterday evening, you know, almost going into the morning, but, yeah, man, it was beautiful. We just, afterwards we was, just talking, going over certain precepts, and we was going into, pretty much having a immortal mindset, you know. So, yeah, I'm just gonna speak a little bit on that. But we in the what's that? The 7 day unleavened feast days. If I'm saying that right, right? We got to like the next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, till we can start back eating bread or whatever. But yeah, so just putting it out there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. This second Esdras 14:14, and it read, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times." So yeah, man, we going into, you might have these troops or whatever, Esau Edom trying to come down at us, and hey, this could be the time, we approaching that Esau Edom try to come, bum rushes or whatever, come after us. But, we got to have our mindset that, hey, Yahweh Shema Shai got us. Put off that mortal thoughts, man, having mortal thoughts that, hey, shit, when these clowns come get us, hey, shit, we'll flee from their asses. Or, who knows, man, Yahweh Shema Shai, he going to have it where he's going to do what he want us to do. Give us spiritual powers or whatever, So, yeah, we were just like going into that just having a immortal mindset, man. Can't be thinking like these other people out here. We got to think out the box, as they say. So let's get Matthew 10:28. And it reads, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to, but not," slacking. Read that again. Matthew 10:28. "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." And I'm going to read it in the NLT, Matthew 10:28. "Don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body," right? That can either be Esau, Edom, these other nations, or even our own people, these 2/3 of Israel, right? "They cannot touch your soul," right? "Fear only Yahweh power, who can destroy both soul and body in hell," right? Your soul and your body, these bodies, man, they like a change of darkness. That's hell already in itself. You can, Yahweh Shema Shai can destroy both our soul and body, and just totally destroy us. We ain't feeling Esau, Edom, all these mortal people out here, man. The only people you ought to be fearing is Yahweh and his son, Yahweh Shai. Okay? So, yeah, let's get Colossians 3. I started at, 1, 3 and 1. Colossians 3 and 1. "If ye then be risen with Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, seek those things which are above, right? Where Mashiach Yahushua sitteth on the right hand of Yahweh, right? Set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Mashiach Yahushua in Yahweh power. So yeah, man, we want to set our affections on things on high. We thinking above, we thinking immortal, I'm slacking, slip of the tongue. We thinking immortal, right? So yeah. That's the mind. We ought to be like kingdom mindset, man. Have a kingdom mindset. We don't think like these people in the world, especially if you got this truth. Okay? So I'm gonna read this again. Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Mashiach Yahushua, see that? We want to appear to be just like him, which is in 1 John, the 3rd chapter. Right? That's one of my favorite precepts. I think that's 1 through 4, if I'm not mistaken. And I always bring that out. Okay? Back Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Mashiach Yahushua, seek those things which are above. Right? Well, Mashiach Yahushua sitteth on the right hand of Yahweh power. And that's power in itself, man. He was the only begotten son, sitting right on the right hand side of Yahweh. Okay? Verse 2, set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. Yeah, man, these things on the earth, man, it's temporal, right? So we want to seek to the heavens, man, the things that we really pretty much can't see. But we know we have faith on what the scriptures say, that some of the things that we can't see, okay? The spiritual realm and things like that. Our prophets, want to say, the Apostle Paul, he's seen some things, that he couldn't really utter with his mouth. It was so beautiful, just putting that out there. So yeah, let's get 1 Corinthians, what's that, 15? And let's see, might be 53. Yeah. I'll get to the point. Let me see. You know what? Yeah, I read. I started at 51. Let me see. Started at 50. 1 Corinthians 15:50. Now this I say, brethren, this Paul speaking, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh power, right? These bodies that we are in is corruptible, man. We can't go in a kingdom like this here, the next kingdom to come, or just even getting in them chariots, them heavenly vehicles, man. We can't, man, that destroy our bodies, man. We have to have new bodies for that, okay? Neither, let me read that again. Now, 1 Corinthians 15:1, 15:50, slack you. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh power. Neither does corruption inherit incorruption. Okay? 51, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, right? We shall not all die. That's it, say. But we shall all be changed, right? In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, right? Pretty much telling you, when we get beamed up in them chariots. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. See that? In new bodies. That's what you got to believe this and have faith in this here, right? Let's have that immortal mindset. For this corruptible must put on incorruptible, right? This body, this flesh, this had to be done away with, okay? And this mortal must put on immortality, right? This fleshly bodies. It just even this the mindset again. That's pretty much true. Just put off that mortal thinking and put on immortality thinking. Okay. So yeah. So when I read 54, verse 54, 1 Corinthians 15 and 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruptible, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Salakia. 55, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Yeah, so man, death gonna be swallowed up. That ain't gonna matter for us no more. We gonna be, living everlasting, everlasting life. Okay? So yeah, that's the mindset we have to, have, man. We about to get ready to experience this, Lord willing. Like I always say, me and the brethren, man, we hope, we are in that number. And we keep on doing the things that we supposed to do through Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay? And, I hope this has been edifying. I just wanted to go into that, having that immortality, immortal mindset. Okay? So, hey, until next time, I'm going to give all praises due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahab Wakakadash. Until next time, Shalom, and shalom to the elect.